oscillating between 5.3 and 5.9. The band is going up and down. The name here is Nizar, November Echo, Zulu Alfa Romeo, November Echo, Zulu Alfa Romeo, Nizar. And I'm using an ICOM 7000 going into an OptiBeam OB9-5 with 3 active elements on 10 meters. The antenna is about 25 meters above ground level, and I'm pushing 100 watts. The QTH is Jebel Industrial City, eastern coast of Saudi Arabia, about 450 kilometers east of the capital Riyadh. Back to you, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Fox, from Hotel Zulu 1, November.
Yeah, Hotel Zulu 1, November, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Fox returning. Well, Nazar, it was very good of you to come back to me today, and your 100 watts is exactly doing the same as my 100 watts. It's up and down on the signal meter. You are peaking 5 and 9, just touching the 9, but it drops way down to Santiago 3, but your audio is very, very loud indeed, very clear, and I think even if my meter was to read 0, then you would still be very loud as audio, and that is a good ham radio setup that you've got there to do that. I'll give you the WX today here in the southeast of England, Nazar. It's about 10 degrees, broken clouds. We did have rain this morning, and we expect some sunshine this afternoon, but the rain will come back this evening and for the rest of the week, unfortunately. And I think maybe you will tell me that your country in Saudi Arabia, it's hot. Go on, back to you. HZ1NN M0 JCF.
Roger, Mark. It is hot usually, but we've had some nice cool weather for the past couple of months or 3 months. The area I live in is quite cold in the winter. Not really cold like in England, but it gets down to 8 degrees sometimes. At the moment, it is 25 degrees, and we had nice rain yesterday. We love the rain because we don't have it, so it's nice to us to have rain. Yesterday was almost a full day of on and off rain. It's pleasant weather at the current time, and really nice. It's like spring nice weather. Back to you, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Fox, from Hotel Zulu 1, November.
Yeah, Hotel Zulu 1, November, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Fox returning. Wow, that's fantastic. I like to speak to people when they tell me it's been raining in their countries, when we all think that their country is very hot, high. But it is what it is, you know. It's a great time to be on the radio when the weather isn't too good. I'm going to say to you, Nazar, I'm running 100 watts. I'd wonder if you'd like to try a QRP experiment with me today. I'd like to drop my power to 50 watts. I'd like to drop my power to 10 watts, and then maybe lower if possible, but the QSB may not allow that. But as I was giving you a very good signal at the top, I was wondering if we could just try that. Back to you.
No problem at all. Go ahead, Mark. I'll be listening.
Okay, Hotel Zulu 1, November. This is M0 JCF on about 50 watts. Nazar. How do you copy?
You're 5 and 5, loud and clear. I can still hear you very clearly. Let me drop mine. I'm dropping at the moment. I'm 50% now, 50 watts. Did anything change? Back to you.
Okay, 5 and 5, and with the QSB 5 and 3 on that over. Very, very good. Very pleased with those results. I'm going to drop my power to approximately 10 watts. So we are officially QRP. Stand by.
Roger, go ahead.
Okay, Hotel Zulu 1, November, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, approximately 10 watts, Nazar. How do you copy?
Roger, nice and clear, loud and clear. You're between 5.3 and 5.5, 5.3 and 5.5, and I'm also, I dropped my power to 10 watts. How do you read?
Yeah, 5 and 3 to 5 and 5. Fantastic. 5 and 3 to 5 and 5. I'm going to drop my power very low, approximately 1 watt, maybe 2 watts, but I'm dropping it to 1%, which is probably below 5 watts. So if you stand by, I'm going to try you with a very QRP. Stand by.
Roger, go ahead.
Okay, Hotel Zulu 1, November. This is Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, approximately between 1 and 5 watts. Between 1 and 5 watts, I'm showing 1% on my meter. How do you copy, Nazar? Back to you.
Roger, I copy you, still copy you, 5 and 3, 5 and 3. I'm going down now. I'm going down. At the moment, it's 1%. I'm reading my power meter. It's oscillating between 0.5 and 1.5 watts. How do you copy, Mark?
Yeah, copy you very well. You're between Santiago 1 and Santiago 3. And with the QSB starting to drop off slightly, but perfectly readable. This radio I'm using, the IC7300, it shows you percentage of RF power, not actual RF power. I don't have my external meter connected today, but I know I'm below 5 watts, but probably just above 1 watt. So I'm very pleased with that test, Nazar. Back to you.
Roger, very nice. I'm going back up now. Any improvement? Now it's 100% at the moment. About 80 watts going out at the moment, 80 to 85 watts. Back to you.
Yeah, QSL Nazar. Yeah, I'm back up to 100%, which is anything between 80 and 100 watts, I'm sure, on this radio. And yeah, you was back up to about a 5 and 5, 5 and 6. So the signals dropped off due to propagation and not the radio. That was absolutely fantastic, Nazar. It's always good to try these things. You know, so many people, they want 1 kilowatt, 1.5 kilowatts, and huge antennas, and I think we've proved that we've worked over a distance of over 3,000 miles on just 1 watt both ways. Back to you.
Roger, I totally agree, Mark. Always try to argue with my fellow ham friends here. You don't really need it, except for maybe competition when there is a lot of pile-up and you need to go through. But for normal conversation, it's more than enough to have 100 watts. That's my thought about it. Back to you, Mike. Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie Fox from Hotel Zulu 1, November.
Yeah, Hotel Zulu 1, November. No, I totally agree. And I have exactly the same arguments with people. Even older hams that seem to have forgotten the relationship between power, decibels and signal movement. And of course, you're quite right. Yes, the power does help when there is a pile up, etc. And you need to get into that pile up. But you know, if everyone was to run between, say, 1 watt and 500 watts, the QR Mexico would be, I think, appreciably lower on the bands, because we have so much QRM now with devices that aren't even amateur radio, whether they be screens or chargers or any other device in the home. You know, there is so much noise, especially on the lower bands. It could only help, but of course we can never make people do that, and people wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't like to make people do that, but you know, I would suggest let's lower the power and stop some of the QR Mexico. But you know, old habits die hard, as they say. Back to you.
Roger, I couldn't agree more, Mark. Really, I've always talked to my friends about this, and some of them are really, I think, accepting that. Actually, I have done an experiment with a friend of mine. He was with me with a portable. He has a Flix radio, so he had his Maestro at home with me, and we tried it. He's transmitting like a lot more than what I'm doing, and we got almost the same reports. And he's like very close to my location as well. Back to you, Mark.
Yeah, QSL. Well, you know, I like to homebrew radios, Nezar, and of course, when you homebrew, they normally start as QRP radios. And then you add the linear amplifier afterwards. And you know, I've worked Italy on 50 milliwatts. Just recently, recently in the last year or so, I worked him 50 milliwatts and he got back to me with 10 milliwatts. And then just 2 weeks ago, I was working someone in Florida with just 2 watts, and I worked someone in Canada with just 3 watts. So, you know, it can be done. I admit it is difficult sometimes if you're calling QRP, and people are not really listening properly, and maybe you're just a Santiago 3 and you know they're looking for big signals. So when you're calling CQ, I think you've got a much better chance than running a pile up, or even just trying to get back to another station without a pile up. But you know what we could do is take the power up to start with and then drop the power. That's what I tend to do, like we've just done. I mean, we could obviously sit there and work just 10 watts all day long. Well, maybe not all day long, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I suppose I'm also guilty of sitting there with 100 watts quite often. But when I use my QRP radios and my homebrew radios, I don't generally use linear amplifiers. I made a small linear just the other day to take one of my radios from 1 watt to 10 watts. So, you know, that's a lot of gain, but it didn't make a lot of difference. The people I were talking to, they were saying 1 watt, 10 watts. It's not even 1 S-point movement, which is correct, you know, if you do the maths. So there you go. But it was great to work with you today and actually have this conversation. And, you know, maybe we can try it again on a different band. I will get myself an external meter fitted to this radio permanently. I've got lots of meters. I just never connect anything up unless I'm really doing some serious experiments. But this one was a fun one to do, Nizar. Back to you, HZ1NN. This is M0 JCF.
Roger, Mark. Always a pleasure to do these experiments, and really it proves a lot that you don't need that much. But what do you say? Some people say life is too short for QRP. I'm not into that, really. It gives me a lot of pleasure if I reach far distances with the minimum power I can put output. It really gives me a lot of pleasure. Back to you.
Yeah, of course it does. Well, you know, it's like many things. Sometimes less is more. I mean, I used to drag race motorcycles, Nizar, and you definitely needed more with that. It was always more power, and but more power costs more money, and in the end, not enough money, not enough power, and you just don't stay with the big boys, as they say. So you know, it's like any hobby. You've just got to enjoy what you have and take it from there, you know. And if you can't have 1 kilowatt, you can't have 1 kilowatt, you know. I think we proved a point today. Back to you.
Roger, couldn't agree more. And it's really a pleasure talking to you, Mark. Always, if you hear me, please give me a call. My wife is calling me. I need to go. So I'll hopefully meet you again very soon, and we'll try other bands as well if you have them. Back to you.
Yeah, I've got many bands. I've got all of the bands. Well, I say I've got all of the bands. I don't work microwave, and I don't generally go below 160 meters. Although I will experiment with that in the very near future, 137 kilohertz. But I don't think we're going to be having a QSO with either that or microwave. So everything from 70 centimeters to top band, you'll find me somewhere at some time, Nazar. And I hope to work you again. Go and see to your wife before she gives you the rule book and you can't play with your radios anymore. But I do appreciate you coming back to my call and having this fun today. You take care, and 73 to everyone around you. Bye bye for now. HZ1NN M0JCF.
Roger. Always a pleasure, Mark. Really, I really enjoyed this QSO, and I hope to meet you again very soon. Best 73 to you and your family, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye, old chap, and take care. QRZ, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, southeast of England.
M0 GCF, M0 GCF 308 Hotel Echo, copy?
Okay, I've got something Bravo 8 and then an Echo. Apologies, I was listening and writing, and I just couldn't multitask at that moment in time. Go again with the call sign, and I'll give you a report. Apologies, and apologies for laughing.
Okay, try again. 3 Bravo 8 Hotel Echo. 3 Bravo 8 Hotel Echo on Mauritius Island in the Indian Ocean.
Yeah, 3 Bravo 8 Hotel Echo, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot returning. Well, thank you very much for coming back to me today from Mauritius Island. I'm very pleased. You are my first contact on those islands. And apologies for laughing, because when I saw the Bravo 8, I thought you were going to tell me you were a Golf Bravo 8, a UK club station or something like that. And I thought maybe it was someone that knew me. So apologies for that. But the name is Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo. I'm in the southeast of England, about 20 kilometres southeast from the city of London. And today I'm using an IC 7300, 100 watts, and the antenna is just a 5/8 wave vertical antenna. So back to you. 3 Bravo 8 Hotel Echo, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot.
Okay. Yeah, very nice to work you, Mark. The signal from you. Your report is essentially 5x5, sometimes 5x6. You drop down everything to the last QSO. And you want to look at that 5 stuff like the earlier part, but you seem to have broken down propagation, I guess. Yeah, my name is Paul Papa Alpha Uniform Lima. I'm located on the north coast of the island of Mauritius. I'm running currently 250 watts today to a 2-element box and a rectangle. Very simple antenna. The radio is FT3000, and sandwiched between that and the antenna is an Elefant amplifier. Just running at 250 watts. WX here at the moment is a bit of a chilly day for Mauritius. It's 28 degrees Celsius. We have sporadic sunshine cloud, and on some parts of the island earlier on there's been a bit of rain, but we've been okay here. So that's sort of the best, Mark. I was listening to your test with the other station, and I copied you perfectly okay down to 10 watts, but at your 5 watt level, the commenter denied it, but was not really, just the odd word or so. But that might give you an idea of the sort of signal you were radiating. Having said that, I am 8 hours, 7 hours flying time due south of the previous station, so that's a fair distance south of me. add that to your distance, and it's a pretty long GCF 3 Hotel Echo.
Yeah, 3 Bravo 8 Hotel Echo M0 JCF returning. Well, Paul, your signal's comparable to mine, peaking about 5 and 3, but consistent. 5 and 5, but consistently around 5 and 3, dropping sometimes to about 5 and 1. And yeah, I've worked a Reunion, which is very close to you. I've worked Reunion a few times on 20 meters and 17 meters. Never worked any higher than that. As I say, you're the first station that I've ever worked out of Mauritius itself. And yeah, I've just looked on the map. I see that we're at 6,000 miles separating us, and obviously across the Atlantic. And yeah, I'm looking to the map. Yes, you are. You're slightly east of that last contact, and very interesting that you could hear me down to 10 watts. That's nice, and it sort of confirms what we were talking about, that you don't need hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of watts, as in 1 kilowatt, 1.5 kilowatts, but old habits die hard with many people, and that's just the way they operate, and that's fine. But the WX, well, I'm glad that it's very, very cold there at 28 degrees. We've got about 10 degrees today, Paul. 10 degrees. It was raining this morning. We've got broken cloud this afternoon, but we do expect the rain to return, and it looks like rain for the rest of the week up until at least Monday or Tuesday next week. So it's Mother's Day on Sunday for us in the UK, so my daughters are treating my wife, and I'll be seeing my mum. I'll be seeing her earlier in the week, probably Thursday or Friday, to drop her the obligatory potted plants, etc. But that's the story. It's not a good day for being outside to visit people. It's a good day for visiting and staying indoors. Back to you.
Okay, fine, Bob. All fine on that, yes. Yes, cut your cloth according to the weather. That's the best way to do it. And, yeah, fine on that. Towards the end of your last over, you were touching 5 to 7 on the S-meter. 5 to 7 on the S-meter, which is a very respectable signal for this distance. I do think I'm across the Atlantic. I think that's just the Indian Ocean. But it's a lot of water anyway. It's a lot of water. As I say, from the Middle East, about 7 hours flying time, 7 to 8 hours flying time. Pretty well due south of where the other station was. It was quite a respectable signal as well, but there wasn't much difference between you. So there we are. I'm not going to hold it. I'm in the same time zone as your previous contact. Heading towards Neil Prime. So, I always do one try to test. I did a few notes, so I thought I was going to let you know. But I really am speaking to you. At 100 watts, you're essentially, these are rounded figures, at 100 watts, you're 5 by 7. At 50 watts, you're 5 by 4. At 10 watts, you're 5 2/3. When it's getting a little bit, I had to concentrate on copying you, but it was 100% copy. I say at 5 watts, I was getting the odd word or two, but not enough for coherence, QSO. That helped you in your range of interest. I've got to differ with you on the higher frequencies. I normally operate 70 centimeters and above. 70 centimeters my lowest band, but here at this QTH, I just operate the HF bands for 50 megs. So during the fall, spring and summer time, when I'm in the UK for the springtime and summertime, then I operate 70 cents and above. But once it starts getting a little bit chilly in good old Blighty, we pack up and head this way, slightly warmer weather. As I say, only a jet from here. Okay then, I'll pass it back to you, Mark, for any closing comments. Glad to be your first station on Mauritius. There's not many of us. It's probably no more than 10 or so active licensed amateurs, about 35 license holders, but not all active. So that possibly is a partial expectation. And on reunion, there's probably even fewer. I know a few of the amateurs there, but probably fewer actually active amateurs. Not very well with that. Give yourself a pat on the back. Back to you, Mark. Any final comments? M0 GCF is the organisation just where 20 kilometres southeast of London actually is. M0 GCF, yeah,
3 Bravo 8 Hotel Echo Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Fox returning for that final pull. Well, it was fantastic for you to give me that information as well. I've noted it all down. I still keep the old school paper logbooks, and I've made notes of all of the different power levels and signal strengths. That is absolutely very superb of you. You know, not a lot of people take that time to jot down those sorts of notes and pass them on when they make contact. So I really do appreciate all of the time and effort that you put into this, and the mine of information that you've given me. My paper logbook is a bit of a mess in that entry at the moment. I've got to start deciphering in my shorthand, but it's great to speak to you. As I say, you're my first contact there, and hopefully you won't be my last contact there. Yeah, in the southeast of England. I'm in Sidcup in Kent, so I wasn't sure if you was an expat from a long time ago, or if you were like bouncing backwards and forwards. And seeing as you come back to as Blighty, as you say, you probably know that Sidcup in Kent, just a suburb of London really, and we're about 20 kilometres or 15 miles from the city of London, the centre of London. So that's the story. Well, it's an absolute pleasure, Paul. I'm actually going to go QRT now. I'm going to go and get myself downstairs, grab myself some lunch. It's local time. It's 20 past 1 in the afternoon, and then I've got a few things that I need to do. I've got a meeting this evening, so my wife's not long come home as well, so I'll go down and say hello to my wife. I wish you and yours the very best 73. I look forward to maybe working you on 77s as well when you're in the UK, and otherwise yeah, we'll stick to HF over the long distance. But take care, very best 73, and as I say, I'll be going clear of the frequency very, very shortly, and I look forward to the next time. So bye bye for now. 3BHHEM0 JCF. Cheers, Paul, and bye bye.
Reintroduce yourself to XYL. Fully happy to do the same here. It's, as I say, it's approaching dinner time in the evening, and I think it's time to give the amplifier a little bit of a rest to let it cool down. So that's everything, Mark. Thank you for listening to us, and look forward to the very next in the near future. M0 GCF in Sidcup in Kent, 3 Bravo 8 Hotel Echo, on the north coast of Mauritius Island. That's everything, Mark.
Much appreciate that, Paul. Thank you very much, and bye-bye for now. QRZ, if anyone would like a report, QRZ Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, southeast of England. Yeah, Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, southeast of England, listening. Okay, final time. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, southeast of England. Okay, Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot is going QRT. This frequency is clear for use. This frequency is clear for use.
Before you go, this is a VK6IA with his amplifier now warmed up.
Who's that? G6 who?
Kilo 6, India Alpha, Western Australia, over.
Victor Kilo 6, India. Sorry, you threw me with Australia because you're my first Australian contact. Apologies for that. The name is Mark, Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, in the southeast of England. Go again, and apologies for getting me tongue in the wrong place in my mouth.
Yeah, it's all right. I put you on the spot there, mate. I was waiting for my amp to warm up, and I'd just come in the shack here as well, so I thought I'd try and grab you before you disappear. All good. Nice to be your first contact in VK. That's excellent. The name is Andrew, Alpha November Delta, Radio Echo Whiskey Andrew. I'm 100 kilometres to the east of the city of Perth, 100 kilometres east of Perth in the countryside here. Local time 20 past 9 in the evening here. And I was just on the phone, and I come back into the shack and the radio was still on. So I just changed to tune, and I was surprised the band's still open. It's usually closed and dead at this time. Well and truly a few hours after our sunset, but loads of signals on the scope, so I was quite surprised. Anyway, I've just got my logging software open. I'll grab your call sign again if I may, and get you in the log there, and plus I'll give you a report on the next over. Back to you, this is VK6IA.
Yeah, VK6IA, Andrew. This is Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, Mark, about 15 miles southeast of the city of London in the county of Kent. And Andrew, you're 5 and 5 to me. And today I'm just using a 5/8 wave vertical antenna. So a 5/8 wave vertical antenna, 100 watts, and the radio's an IC7300. And you know what? I was down in your fair country, 1993, 30 years ago, almost to the day. I took some time out, Andrew, travelled down that way, and I drove with a friend the whole of the number 1, or the Bruce Highway, and we spent some time around Perth, Fremantle, Wembley, etc. We had to stay with friends in Wembley because we blew the camper van up. The engine was foobarred, and we had to put it in to have it repaired in a small shop in Wembley. And I stood on top of the hill of the park in Perth, overlooking Perth City, and took some great photographs. They're obviously not digital, they're paper photographs. And at some point, seeing as you're my first contact, I will have to scan those photographs, and I'll email them to you via any email address that you've got on QRZ. So that's the story this side there, Andrew. 5 and 5 to me, very little QSB, and a really good audio. VK6 India Alpha. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot.
Yeah, Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. This is Victor Kilo 6 India Alpha. Excellent. All copied 100% Mark. It's a nice quiet band. There's no noise. And you're a Q4, you're actually peaking S7, 5 and 7 here, so a nice signal indeed. Working conditions this side, the radio is an ICOM IC7800. I'm driving an ACOM amplifier from Bulgaria to our legal limit of 400 watts, so 400 watts on peak. And the antenna is a 3-element Yagi, 3-element step IR. That's the one with the stepper motors in it, and it covers 20 metres up to 6 metres. And that's at about 65 feet above the ground, being obviously on the short part. So that's the deal there, Mark. Originally from the UK myself, we emigrated here in 1983. So been here for a long, long time. But we still get back regularly to the UK. We've still got friends and family in the UK. So we do get back. We have, not recently because of COVID, but we usually get back every year or every couple of years. So we're long overdue a trip back. I'm licensed in the UK on G5AU, which is a very old call that was my grandfather's call sign years and years ago. And he unfortunately went silent key in the 60s. So I've had the call for probably nearly 20 years now. Golf 5 Alpha uniform. And I do have a remote station in Nottingham in the East Midlands, so I can actually come up on the HF bands just with 100 watts on a wire and operate as a G. So I do that remotely over the internet. So there you go. That's the story there, Mark. A great signal, and really pleased to be your first VK. And yes, Kings Park is a great place to view the city from. It really is an excellent park. And I'm sure I'd love to see your photos. You should scan them and send them, definitely. My email's on QRZ. It's just andrew@vk6ia.com. And I'd love to correspond with you on email there, Mark. But a great contact. As I say, it's quite late for 10 metres. So very pleased that the band is open. Mike 0, Japan, Charlie, Florida. Victor Kilo 6 India Alpha. Go ahead, Mark. Over.
Yeah, VK6IA M0 JCF are returning. Well, that's absolutely fantastic. As I say, I drove 26,000 kilometres around your country. All of the number one highway around the whole country, obviously, and then all of the major roads inward. So from Perth, we visited places that you probably know at Hyden, Wave Rock, Hippo Cave, all those weird and wonderful places. And then we carried on north from Perth. We went to Monkey Mire and the Pinnacles, you know, went as far up as Broome, where all the surfers were, and then we hung a right and then drove up to the Northern Territories in Kakadu National Park. And in fact, I was pulled over by your good policeman driving north from Perth. I don't know if we'd passed Monkey Mire and that, but I wasn't wearing a seatbelt for the only time in thousands and thousands and thousands of kilometres. I decided, we was in an old VW camper van and the seats had completely shot to pieces. So the seatbelt was constantly cutting into my neck. So what I did is I took the seatbelt off, and I think your only copper who was doing a patrol through the desert, the only one in the whole of Western Australia, managed to see me at that point take the seatbelt off, and he pulled me over and he gave me $150 fine, which was very, very welcome. I love paying money for stupidity, and that's what it was. I took that seatbelt off at totally the wrong place. But yeah, you know, I've got such vivid memories of red dust, emus, camels, and road trains coming the other way. We had a road train destroy our windscreen once as well. But the list goes on. I could talk to you for hours. So, but I will sort those photographs out. I really do need to document them digitally now. I will sort them out, and yeah, I'll find your email on QRZ. Although I had made a quick note now, but my handwriting's terrible, and I will scan them. And what I did was, while I was on the hill looking at the city, and it was at dusk, so you know there was lots of lights going on the buildings, and I had a zoom lens, and as I took the photograph on something like a 3-second shutter speed, I zoomed the camera back as well, which gave like 2 images in the one photograph with all those zoom lines that you get. Anyway, I won't bore you with it now. I'll just say that I'll sort those photographs out. I will remember you, Andrew, and I will actually email them to you. And as for working you from Nottingham, yeah, well, I could do that on 40 metres, 2 metres. Oh, there's plenty of 80 metres. So you never know, I might just bounce into you somewhere along those lines. But do you know what? And also, because I've got an omnidirectional antenna, I'm wondering if we're going long path or short path. Not too sure. I would imagine short path if you're beaming my way. That'd probably be, probably be right. Your first hop is probably coming into daylight just north of the equator, I would would imagine, or from your point of view, northwest of the equator. Long path, I mean, that is probably a big daylight path in the other direction, but I'm pretty sure you said you was using a beam. As I say, I'm omnidirectional, so I can only go on the beam headings that you're giving me. I've waffled on enough there, Andrew. VK6 IA M0 JCF.
Yeah, M0 JCF, VK6IA, excellent copy, Mark, and I did not miss one word. You're absolutely clear here, no trouble at all, no QRM, all good. And yeah, you have me laughing away when you were mentioning some of those things that you remember about Australia. And yes, the coppers here are pretty keen. It's funny you say that, actually, because I had a relative visit us, let me think, it was probably about 88, 87, something like that, not long after we'd moved out here. And she got busted for speeding there. She was just near Mandurah, which is south of Perth. And she had a rental car, of course, and she got clocked over the speed limit. And she buggered off and never paid her fine. So I always joke with her and tell her the cops are going to be after her. They'll be waiting for her at Perth Airport. They'll take her away in handcuffs there. But she's since married and changed her surname, so she reckons she's safe. But yeah, she didn't pay it. She said, well, what are they going to do? They're not going to send it to the UK. So I said, well, you know, if you want to run the gauntlet, that's up to you. So she did. Anyway, yeah. She said the same, you know, I'm the only car on this road and he happens to find me. What the hell, you know? So, yeah, a bit like your story there, I think, Mark. But very good. Yeah, you did take a 9 a few times on the last over. So the 5/8 vertical with 100 watts doing a great job. Easy copy here. No problem at all. I don't know whether you remember your geography from your trip to Perth. You may, if you head out of Perth on the Great Eastern Highway towards Northern, well, we are in a place called York, Yankee Oscar Romeo Kilo. That's the nearest town. We're actually 23 kilometres east of York, but that's the general direction we're in. So go out on the Great Eastern Highway, turn off, and head down the Great Southern Highway, and that gets you to York, and then we're about another 20 kilometres after, further on. So that gives you a bit of an idea where we are. It's the wheat belt country here. It's where they grow all the crops. And we're surrounded here by fields of wheat. Although I'm not the farmer, I just live out here. And the farmer gets to do all of his harvesting and so on and so forth there. So that's the setup. All right, Mark, I won't hold you there, mate. I think you're going QRP anyway, but really pleased to be your first VK. And if you want a QSL card, I've got a QSL manager in the States. It's Dan, N4 Golf November Radio. He'd be happy to send you a card. His details are on my QRZ page. And again, my email is also on there, mate, for when you want to send those photos later on there. But great to work you, Mark. A great signal from the vertical and 100 watts from the icon. Mike 0, Japan, Charlie, Florida, VK6, Italy Alpha.
Yeah, VK6, India Alpha, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie Fox returning. Oh no, it was a very special contact with me, and I don't know if you was listening. Before you, I was talking to someone in the Mauritius, and another rag chew with him, and I was really quite stunned. You know, the Mauritius came up to me, and you know, we was having a good old conversation, and prior to him, I was talking to someone in Saudi Arabia, and we was playing QRP, and managed to get my power down to 1 watt or thereabouts, between 1 and 5 watts into Saudi Arabia. And I thought, well, that will do it for me for today. You know, Saudi Arabia has answered my CQ. We've played QRP, we had a good old rag chew and that. I thought it's time to wrap up, and as I was about to well, I was calling CQ, you know, anyone want to report basically. And yeah, the 3B8 station came in. I thought, blimey, I'll have some of that. And then once again I was going QRT, and there you are, making my day. And I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And like a kid with his hand in the sweet jar, and he's been told, that's all right, you can have all the sweets today. I mean, it just doesn't happen normally. I mean, I know what'll happen now, Andrew. I'll go QRT, and someone in New Zealand will be calling me, and that's another country that I probably couldn't go back to, because I've done the same as your wife. I got done for speeding in New Zealand, and it was the same trip. You know, we was doing a round the world trip, me and a mate. We had a hire car, and we was in both islands for a month. And yeah, I come round the corner one day doing 50 kilometres an hour in a 30 kilometre an hour or 35 kilometre an hour speed limit. And yeah, the copper had the radar gun, he had his air dryer hanging out the window, and he done me. And that was $150, but New Zealand dollars. And at the time I was getting 3 New Zealand dollars to the pound, so it was £50, but I didn't pay that one. Naughty, I did actually skip. But it was 30 years ago, and I had no real inkling to go back, you know, to either New Zealand or Australia, because I've done it all, you know. I'm quite happy, thank you very much. So I think I can get away with that one. But yeah, no doubt the black helicopters will be flying around my house now, because I've just made an admission on an open radio. Who knows? Andrew, an absolute pleasure, mate. But yeah, I will go QRT, unless, of course, something else interesting comes up. And I look forward to working you again, and I will definitely sort those photographs out for you, mate. And I will get this the email address sorted out, and sort you out. Also, just so that you're aware, I've got a YouTube channel called M0JCF Ham Radio. I used it originally just to store my videos, and I've videoed this QSO. Well, I've got this one, I've got the previous one in Mauritius, and the previous one Saudi Arabia. So you're at the tail end of it. It's a 46 minute video now. And what I'll do is I'll upload this video later, and I'll also let you know, I'll send you the link to it, or you can just go to that channel. I'm not looking for subscriptions and all of that. It was just a place to store my videos for my, you know, just my own sort of, almost like a video logbook. So, you know, you'll be able to hear what you sound like, and how you look on the scope, etc. So I've waffled on enough now, enough for QSB to suddenly snatch you away. So I'll say goodbye, best 73 to you and yours. Take care of that good land around there. I did like Perth. Very, very USA to look at it, you know, compared to other cities around that country. All the best, 73, and I'll say bye-bye. Otherwise, I'll take 15 minutes saying goodbye. VK6IA M0JCF.
Okay, M0JCF, VK6IA, all copied there, Mark, and yeah, good stuff, mate. I'll check out your YouTube channel, that'll be interesting. And just for the hell of it, you want to try and call me on QRP? Let's hear you in Australia on Friday. Hang on there.
Right, okay, VK6IA M0JCF, I heard you drop to 5 watts. You was barely readable, and the world in his dog seemed to be calling. I got a feeling they probably think this is your frequency, and I was going to drop off, and they all just pile in. So I don't know, but no, I didn't hear you. I would like to drop to 10 watts, which 10 watts SSB is considered QRP. I wouldn't mind dropping to 10 watts and just giving that a go, just to prove a point to myself. Is that okay there, Andrew? VK6IA M0JCF.
Yeah, QSL, Mark. Well, you're peaking to 5 and 8 with 100 watts, so I should be able to hear you on 5. So yeah, live dangerously, go down to 5, and I'll listen for you. Everyone else, please stand by while we do this test. Go down to 5 watts, Mark, and I'll see if I can give you a report.
VK6 India Alpha, this is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot QRP, approximately 5 watts. How do you copy, Andrew? VK6IA M0JCF QRP.
Hi, sorry mate. People falling over you. I could hear you at the start, and then the caller started. M0JCF, go ahead on 5 watts, over.
Yeah, VK6IA M0JCF/QRP, approximately 5 watts. Back to you.
Okay, what's your power level, Mark? What is your power level now, over?
Yeah, about 5 watts, just under 5 watts. Back to you.
Okay, I can hear you, but not very well. I can hear you, but not very well. Just come back again, I'll give you a report, over.
Okay, I'm just under 10 watts now, just under 10 watts. VK6IA M0JCF/QRP, just under 10 watts.
Okay, just under 10 watts, you're 5 and 4. 5 and 4, 54 with just under 10 watts, QSL.
Yeah, QSL, let me try 5 watts once more. Let me try 5 watts once more. Stand by, QRX.
53, 5 and 3 with 5 watts, 53, QSL.
Okay, now I'm on 5 watts. This is 5 watts. This is 5 watts. VK6IA M0JCF.
Yeah, QSL, mate, I can hear you, but it's a bit difficult. It's probably 4x3 with 5 watts. Anything lower than that, you go into the noise. So certainly easy copy with 10, marginal copy with 5 there. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I'm back up to 100 watts. That was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I thought at first you dropped to 5 watts, and I thought I'd heard the power drop. You must have just unkeyed, and I say the world and his dog just lit up the frequency, which I would imagine is probably going to be Europeans all pointing your way. But you know what? I've had a fantastic time, a lovely rag chew, and we've played QRP, and I've just got myself into Australia on 10 watts, and technically I got in there on 5 watts, dropped another 3 dB. So I'm very, very pleased with that. I've got no complaints whatsoever. The rest of Europe can have you now, Andrew, and I'll let the frequency go. As I say, I was going QRT, so I'll let the frequency go, and you can take it over if you wish. Otherwise, it will be a free-for-all for everyone. So can I wish you very best 73 there, Andrew. As I say, again, to you and the family, and to everyone around you in that fair city, and I look forward to the next time. I'll remember this one for a long time. VK6IA M0JCF, back to you for any final.
Yeah, very good. The signals are going down slowly now, Mark. You're down to 5 and 7, 57 with 100 watts. That's still a good signal, mate. All the best, and we'll say 7-3, mate. Take care. And you have a very good day. Really pleased to work you, mate. And hopefully we'll catch you again. If you hear me on, give us a yell, and we'll have a catch up at another QSO. So 73 from me, mate, and take care. Mike 0, Japan Charlie Foxtrot, VK6 India Alpha.
Yeah, VK6IA M0JCF. Cheers, mate, and very best 73. Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, southeast of England, is about to go QRT unless someone specifically calls me. This is Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, about to go QRT unless somebody specifically calls me for a report. So listening one more time before releasing the frequency.
Okay, radio X-ray 5 X-ray, thanks for the call. You're 5 and 9 plus 20, very strong. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Very good evening to you. Thank you very much.